In this video, I want to compare and contrast the Shun Classic Steak Knife to the Zwilling Professional S steak knife. And off the bat, I do want to clarify that anytime you're using high-end non-serrated steak knives, you use them differently than you would serrated ones. You don't hold them like this and saw through the meat because they're not serrated. You put the tip directly down on the plate and just glide straight through the meat like a scalpel. The reason you do that is because the tip will be the only thing that gets dull and the rest will stay completely and totally sharp, which is what you're looking for. These knives are very different, but at the same time they are very, very similar as well. They're both handmade, they're both forged, and they both have essentially the same cutting angle, a very sharp 16 degrees for the Shun, and a little bit sharper, at least out of the box, of a 15-degree angle for the Zwilling. The difference comes in that the Shun is a Japanese knife and the Zwilling is a German knife. Both use a forged method. The Zwilling has a full bolster while the Shun has a half bolster, which doesn't make too much of a difference in terms of a steak knife because you are only using the tip and using the belly to cut through your meat. But if you were using a chef's knife or something, it would get in the way. And at the same time, the bolster of the Zwilling has sharp corners, while the bolsters of the Shun have rounded corners, so they're better for pinch grips. But again, in terms of a steak knife, that is not going to really be a concern. The differences in terms of a steak knife that actually matter are going to be the material they're made out of and how they work. The Zwilling is made out of a single piece of their proprietary 57 hardness steel, so it is relatively soft metal, while the Shun uses a cutting core of VG Max, a very hard, very high-end steel, about 61 hardness, and it's wrapped on either side with 34 layers of stainless steel to protect it, which gives you this gorgeous Damascus finish. So it really is a beautiful knife. What that means is the Shun is going to keep an edge, and it's going to keep an edge sharper for much, much longer than the Zwilling will. At the same time, they are both full tang. The handle of the Zwilling is a traditional German design with two scales that are triple riveted on, while the handle of the Shun is a black pakkawood D-shaped handle, and pakkawood is a really gorgeous wood that's been compressed and filled with resin, so it ends up being impervious to water damage and staining. I will say that especially if you want to use knives that you can give out at dinner parties to your guests so they can eat their food with, the Shun just really looks gorgeous, and it really is a showstopper and a conversation starter. But it really comes down to your personal preference. They both have lifetime warranties, but the Shun also comes with lifetime sharpening for free, which I really think is a deal breaker, especially for something like steak knives, where you can either pay $5 an inch to get them sharpened, or you can spend a lot of time sharpening 8 or 10 of them at home over and over again. At the end of the day, I'll put a link down to both below. If you have any questions, any comments, or any concerns, as always, let me know. And otherwise, I will speak to you very, very soon.